welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. And we're going to do some testing and some contracts and stuff today. So here's that ship I used that that I'm going to do some testing on here. So I unlocked radial parachutes, so we can save our parts for reuse later, so we don't go broke. I'm rearranging the staging there in the lower right, and this is my test ship. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to go check for some new contracts here. There's one for a Sepatron. A Sepatron is a small rocket motor used to push larger pieces away from the main craft. So I'm gonna get them on here. They're kind of tricky to get on the right way, just so they push in a normal kind of pattern. So I got them on there, and here we're gonna test them. So they need to be, there's the criteria for the test on there on the upper right. Here we go. Throttle all the way up. Just get up into the air, get going nice and fast. I've screwed up, however, on the staging, and the Deceptrons went off as soon as I launched. So let's try that again, and here we go. I throttled down the main rocket because the solid rocket boosters are getting us going plenty fast, and see the green there on the upper left, it worked. So now we're just going to just fly, and just because we can. I want to land in the ocean because, you know, that's better landing, so I aim my rocket that way, launch that piece off, and come flying in here, red hot, really fast, and deploy my parachute. The other piece is way the heck over there, but I'll recover that in the map view later. And now the parachute's gonna go off at 500. There, yep. And I time accelerate back down to the ocean just to save some of my time. And almost touchdown here. Sea level's of course at 0. Splosh. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is see if that other piece lands near me, and I don't see it, and I can't switch to it using the switch keys, and I don't even see it on the map. So I just recover the vessel and get the science from it, and it's labeled as debris, so I'm going to click on debris and get it. There we go, and that just saved us money because we recovered that and it could be reused. So now we're going to go into R&D here, research and development, and unlock a few things with our look at things with our that we can buy. So there's various things here, rocket engines and such, and now we just go into contracts, look at more stuff there. There's the orbit Kerbin, and I'm going to accept that because that's what we're going to do, of course. Next is orbit Kerbin. So now we're just looking at this. Look at the Sepatron one. That's in the archives. That means we've that's in the active. Excuse me. The little stars on the right-hand side of that list show the prestige of it, and it's pretty meager, but orbiting Kerbin has 3 stars. Orbiting Kerbin needs to be done. So I'm looking at my test ship here. We didn't have enough juice last time, even though we made it plenty high, so I'm going to stick another stage in there. I'm going to put a small fuel tank in, and a small motor meant for rocket engine, meant for space. I also need to stick a decoupler in there so I can detach this from the main ship. I opt for the smaller decoupler. It doesn't really have any advantages over the other one, and vice versa. So it's not like it's lightweight. It just has a better aesthetic, in my opinion. It's just one of the things that comes with one of the mods, KW Rocketry. And then I also stick a parachute on that stage so we can save that stage for future use. Since we're going to space, even though we should have enough life support in the capsule, I'm going to put a small life support canister on the upper stage there. And that pretty much does it. I just go through the tabs here, seeing if there's anything I could use that might help my ability here. Mystery goo is another science item I can use, and I'm going to put 2 on there just for symmetry to make the rocket fly better. It should be fine the way it is, but it's just more science at any rate. So there's the finished ship. It doesn't look spectacular. We'll build far nicer looking rockets in the future, but that's what we have for now. Yeah, so let's launch this thing, make sure we save it, and go to the launch pad. Take off at the speed of light, pretty much. When you're under 10,000 meters there, you can see how high we are on the upper middle. Under 10,000, it's best to stay under 200 meters per second, so I tried really hard to do that, or else it's just wasted fuel. So I take off here, angle the rocket a little bit for a little bit of a gravity turn, because of the way Kerbin rotates, sun setting in the west, we want to go this way so we're not fighting the atmosphere as we're trying to get into orbit. So we expand our larger stage and start pushing with our upper stage. We time warp up here so we can get to Apoapsis, which is our highest point in orbit. It needs to get up to 70,000, and we're at 72 or 3 at this point. 73, yes. So it's the most fuel efficient if you fire at Apoapsis, so I'm trying to do that there. And I'm really watching my fuel up there in the upper right. If I look at the fuel can there, I don't have much fuel left, but I can always get back into Kerbin using the RCS fuel that's included in the capsule. I don't quite make it into orbit. I need the periaps to get into up to 70,000 to make a stable orbit. It ends up at about 24. I probably could have done it with this rocket if I would have launched it a few more times. That could have been a little bit more fuel efficient. But I'm just going to do my science experiments. It's no big deal. I can always send up another rocket. And considering this is our 4th actual launch and we're almost in orbit, and it's our 2nd real rocket going into space, we're doing pretty good. So I can actually EVA here since I'm in space and I'm going the same velocity as the capsule. So I'm going to do the EVA report, which I'm going to get science. I'm just observer above the water, store the experiments, and I'm going to board the craft here in a little bit. I'm trying to get the EVA report over the island, and there we go. EVA report from space just above the grasslands. So store that experiment and board the craft. Alright, so Jebediah is flying this thing around the planet. We're going to come in on the night side of the planet, but just gonna time warp, time accelerate around here just a little bit so we can try and get over some new areas to see if we can get some EVA science. So EVA is outside the vehicle, and we're just going to get that science, or attempt to get more science. It keeps on saying that the food, water, oxygen, and electric charge are depleted on the spacesuit that our little Kerbal is in, but that's just the mod being picky. Anyway, so you also can survive without those for a little bit. It's not big a deal. Alright, so we're going to get the EVA report. We already have the one from the water, so I just trashed that one. Try again. Upper atmosphere, since we went under 70,000. I'm going to keep that data and board the craft. Now we're going to accelerate into time accelerate a little bit. So gonna face retrograde, or point our tail end into the velocity vector, which is the one with the little X across the back on the little nav ball in the lower middle. And we're gonna time accelerate down. Most you can go in the atmosphere is 4 times time acceleration. So it's gonna take a little bit since we're at such a shallow entry angle, which is close to what it'd be in real life if you were orbiting Earth. You wouldn't like point directly to the ground, but it's not the most stable craft. The center of mass is a little too far up, and it wants to keep flipping. So it's not so much a big deal in the upper atmosphere, but when you get low, it can completely destroy the craft or cause weird heating and stuff in it. Yeah, speaking of heating, so we're coming in pretty hot here, no pun intended, but I ditched the upper stage because that has our science on it, and I could have gone out of the capsule and grabbed it, but it's not that big of a deal because I want to keep it anyway. So we come down here. I'm not sure how high the ground is, but the parachute will deploy 500 meters before. There it is. And time accelerate into the ground. Almost there. Boom. And the other one landed fine. I'm going to recover all that stuff. Go back. Recover that vessel. Next done. Alright. So now we're going to go into R&D and look at what we have here in the tech tree. Yeah, so the little number in the upper right of each of those little, upper left of each of those little squares is how many new parts in that piece. There's some various mods that I'm no longer including in here, but all sorts of nifty stuff to help us achieve orbit. So going through here, I'm not going to buy anything this episode. We'll buy stuff in the next episode. This is just everything that's in there, some various aerodynamic stuff, some new capsules, and thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.